It's a bit of a pain to set up, and it's going to be even more of a pain to get anyone I know to start using it. But the idea with Matrix is it's like federated open source messaging implementation, and you can find it pretty easily by searching for like Matrix messaging online. The idea is you host your own like server. It can federate with other servers, so you can message other people. So it basically recreates Discord, but you're hosting your own server. Everyone's hosting their own servers, and then it's end-to-end encrypted too.
Okay.
So I want to get that spun up. That's going to be my like New Year's resolution: is no more unencrypted messages.
Nice.
We'll see how far I get with that, but at least like a step in the right direction, you know.
And it's all hosted in the cloud, or you're hosting it,
or it would be hosted. Like I have a Raspberry Pi, just host it on.
Oh, nice. House. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Throw it on the same thing as my website and like
Matrix server.
Get rolling with that. Yeah. So I'm gonna try that. The other one I tried was XMPP. XMPP is not as fleshed out. It's a lot more like lower level, I guess. So a lot of messaging apps used like Facebook Messenger and stuff are built on top of XMPP. But once you have like a company running their own server hosting this instance, then you lose a lot of like the security and privacy benefits and stuff, because it's like, okay, well the whole point is it's like end-to-end encrypted and private and stuff, but if Facebook holds all the keys, then what's the point? Like,
right.
So yeah, the problem with that though is Matrix, it can do video chat like this stuff, voice chat and stuff. XMPP is strictly like
straight text.
You're going to have text chats, and all the clients are bad because all the clients, for some reason, there's no like one company or organization that stepped in and wrote a client that's like cross-platform and everything. So you're going to have one client for your desktop, one client for your phone, a different client if you want a web browser and stuff. It's like, no, there's no way I'm getting anyone to use this. But Matrix has Element, and Element's just looks pretty much like Discord. I could probably convince a couple people, so we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, and then what is the what is the number of hosts that you can have connected? Does that all depend, I guess, on your hardware that you have?
It depends on hardware. Yeah, I think as far as text chat goes, I mean you're going to be fine. You're really going to be fine. I think voice chat and video chat like this has become like a recent development. Like I think they only started working on that in like 2021. So I think right now it's still kind of in beta. I think the limit's like 8 people in a voice chat/video chat.
Okay.
But I mean, that's still, hey, that's
not bad.
Probably going to be good most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll keep you updated if that ever works. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. So, so Isaac, welcome to the BarCode Shot. This will be our second episode of the Shot. So thanks for joining me.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. I'm probably not the most interesting person to have on a podcast, but
you are, man. I want to hear all about what you're up to, man. And what you got going on. So you and I met through a mutual friend, Matt Canham, and we worked together on a few things. You have helped me out actually with BarCode, and but you recently graduated from Oregon State University, right? And as we just heard, you're deeply involved with computer science systems. You have a computer science systems degree. So I was going to ask you, what are some of the cool shit you're working on right now? And I heard a little bit about it. So, what else are you doing, man?
Well, working on that right now. At the start of November, I started like full power looking for a job. So that's my main
priority, number one
occupation priority right now. Yeah. And it's a bit rough. It's like, oh man, now is not a great time to be looking for a tech job, but they're still out there. And I imagine I'll find stuff. So I'm not too worried about it. It's a little stressful, just like, oh man, better find a decent job so I'm not, flipping burgers when my bank account runs dry. But I think I'll be fine. I'm technically working for the school district, local school district. My previous boss there, he really likes me. He brought me back to work on this project to make it like a display board for student work. So the idea is it has a bunch of TVs or monitors or whatnot. Each TV is hooked up to like about 6 buttons. And then using Google spreadsheets and stuff, each display, one of those display boards, TVs would, on the back end, be able to look at like 6 different students' projects. and then depend, like you'd have like Isaac's button and then Matthew's button and then Jacob's button or whatever. So like the elementary kids can walk by, press the button with whoever's name on it, and then that kid's project shows up on the screen.
That's cool.
So, and it's going to have a whole display board thing. So I'm kind of spearheading this project a little bit to get it rolling. And then the idea is the high school kids will like build the whole cabinet thing and put it all together. And I'm just there to like do some stuff that like the high school kids can't, like with maybe getting the code to work, getting the buttons to work and stuff. So I don't know. My old boss, Mike, is super excited about this little project.
That's interesting, man. So are you using like what's the hardware you're using? Because I've seen like macro boards before.
Oh yeah. What I have the parts on my desk. I'm seeing if they're going to work.
Okay.
But what we have are like arcade buttons for people who build like DIY arcade cabinets, because that's basically what we're building.
Yeah.
It's got a screen, it's got arcade buttons. So I'm trying to use some of that hardware, and it's pretty cheap off of Amazon too. So
yeah.
Boss likes that. So I'm hoping that will get to work. And then for the monitors and the computers, obviously, that have to drive the stuff, is just like, hey, whatever we have lying around the district. I mean, it's not hard. I mean, so we're throwing like Chrome boxes or old computers or whatever works for this like kind of demo test to see how this works. And who knows? It might turn into a bigger project, because he's already said like other school districts have like he's really good at marketing these things. Other school districts might want some of these, and then he could get the high school kids to build them and then sell them to the other school districts and start a whole CTE program type thing around it. So
so you're building a prototype. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, and if it's successful, it might go somewhere. But.
And you do the coding as well. So do you have coding experience as well? Is that something that you picked up in school, or you kind of just learned that on the side?
Well, I learned that probably on the side. Like I've been coding since like high school, working on little projects. I actually started this project with him when I was an intern, right after I graduated high school, before I started college over the summer. And then this project got put on the shelf. But yeah, I've learned a lot more about coding in college. Come back to it like, oh man, I don't know why I did this way. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, I mean, no one's looking over to your shoulder to see like how you're doing it. It's just like, hey, Isaac, can you get this thing to work? And okay, I'm going to code it poorly, but hey, it works. So now I might clean it up a bit. But it's maybe not that bad, but I can probably do a little better.
That's a skill that I've,
in some cases.
No, it's a skill that I respect, especially with projects like this,
Oh yeah, exactly. For me, the hard part is like, once you have the skills, now it's like, hey, what do I go do? Like, and like, I'm not very much of an ideas person, I guess you could say. So it's like, I'm always used to, like, especially with school. Like I've been in school for the last 17 years of my life. I'm really used to someone else telling me what to do. So I've realized this summer was my first like, okay, I'm all done with school. Never going back to school. You can't make me.
Yeah.
But all right, now I have to come up with my own motivations and ideas, and no one tells you how hard that is. Like, I guess it's a totally different paradigm than being in school, or even being at work, honestly. But
so, let's talk to me about the CSI project, man. That's exciting, because I was on the one call. I think it was the first call that you guys did. But talk to us a little bit about what that is and your involvement.
Oh, okay. So this is Matthew's project. I take it from the top. He has, I guess I can say this. He has government agency experience, and he's retired now from that. So his whole goal is he wants to create like a cybersecurity academy type thing, and he has friends and connections who are either retired or soon to be retired. So he wants to make some courses, get his friends to make some courses, and basically, it's make like a Skillshare, Khan Academy, Udemy feeling type thing, but specifically for cybersecurity and cybersecurity certificates. And right now, I don't know if it's a permanent name, but it's called the Cognitive Security Institute. And I just bumped into Matthew at the right time, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I need someone to whip up a quick little website for this." So I did that. And then I've been helping him with some side projects and stuff. And for the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been on pause because he's been actually over in Europe right now on a little business trip, but he'll be back soon and the ball will get rolling again. But and we've been having security institute meetings once a month. So I've been editing the videos for that and throwing them up on his YouTube channel. I can probably find that and give it to you.
Yeah, send me a link for that, and I'll put the website up. Very interesting conversations, though.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting because he both has like the cybersecurity side, but he's by education he's like into psychology and stuff. So it's a lot of like the
behavioral sciences and
yeah, and that makes sense too, because so many attacks isn't just some like crazy insane hacker just busting through computer systems. It's like phishing links and emails like that. That still is the vast majority of attacks these days. So, and figuring out how to like prevent that and stuff. And that was really the last talk. That was I think it was at the start of this month. Was about, hey, how do we harden a target against these like psychological attacks? Like how do we prepare people and prevent the stuff and make an environment that's just harder to do phishing attacks against. So that was interesting. Yeah, like I said, I'll find that link for you.
Yeah, definitely, man. I always enjoy hearing this psychological angle to that.
Oh yeah, too, because it's way out of my ballpark. I'm like, what? How is this stuff? And like people tell like all sorts of things and be like, oh yeah, these mental slips, these mental biases. Yeah, they still happen even if you know about them. Like knowing that you'll do these things won't stop you. And I'm like, oh, that's so counterintuitive, and also scary. Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Maybe this is part of growing up, but you just realize how many things you don't know. Like, it's like, oh, I have a degree, I feel so smart. It's like, oh man, there's just infinite stuff out there I just really have no idea about.
Yeah, and just the way that people process internal information, right? And how they act on it can vary. And that's the way that the mind works like that, and getting to understand that, and it's phenomenal. And what Matt does is phenomenal, man. Like I gotta give him props, man. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. And I'm looking forward to seeing where that CSI project goes. Oh yeah, me too. Yeah. So, I'm happy to sit in Matthew's wake for a while and just see what happens. So, I want to switch over to crypto real quick. 'Cause you recently started, dabbling with crypto, right? I'm just curious to hear how that experience is, and if it's something that you're looking to get more involved with, or just your perspective on that. I like the idea of crypto. I haven't put my money where my mouth is, but I put a little time and effort. I've at least created I created a Monero wallet recently. And so you want other people to put their money?
You can put your money where my mouth is.
Right.
If you want. But I'm still a broke college kid, and I don't need to be buying fake internet coins right now. So,
but you're learning, right? You're understanding the tech, how it works, which is much further along than
And that's still, I don't know. Everyone has their own horse in the race, I guess. My bet is on Monero being the most useful cryptocurrency moving forward. Because there's obviously Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not going to go away. Bitcoin has some flaws of, hey, it's not private at all whatsoever. It's a ledger. Like everyone can see who's transacting with whom. And also another big problem is transactions per second or so is pretty low. It's capped at some fairly low just limit of how the system works. So I think in one of your later podcasts, I can't remember his name. He founded, can't think of the website he founded either. He was kind of a hacker.
Did Matt co-host it with me?
Yeah, he did. It
was probably Brett Johnson then.
Yes, it was him.
Okay.
And he mentioned Monero, and I'm glad he did, because I feel like I feel validated by someone who knows more than I do, like bringing it up. And it's basically Monero solves the privacy issue. Essentially, I mean, it's horribly complicated, but essentially it boils down to using a new address every time a transaction's made. So the same address doesn't really get used twice, so you can't track anything. And it pretty much solves the transactions per second, so it can keep up with like a larger network. Because what happens if not enough transactions can go through. The whole supply and demand thing happens, and then you have to pay bigger and bigger fees to get transactions to go through in a reasonable amount of time. So, and he was talking about Monero is the currency that's currently used, like on the dark web and such. If you're going to go buy illicit products and don't want to be tracked and actually have a deal go through, Monero is kind of what's being used. And I mean, I don't want to give criminals too much credit, but if they're on the line, not wanting to get caught, wanting to use something private, I mean, they probably have put the time and effort to like use the best thing available to them. And right now everyone's using Monero. So I think that's a good sign that Monero's has some potential to be used as an actual currency. Whereas a lot of these other things like Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff is not really practical to be used as an actual currency now or anytime in the future. So yeah, I might actually buy some Monero, might actually cyberbully my friends into using it with me. Next time I owe my friend something, I think I'll pay him in Monero. I love cyberbullying people into things.
There you go.
It's one of my better traits, I think.
Oh man. So I gotta I'm gonna sum it up, man, but I definitely want to ask you, what's next for you? I know you said that you're looking for work, right? You're working on CSI. What other type of projects you got going on? What are you doing on the side, outside of the tech field that interests you?
I've been reading a lot, actually.
Okay.
That's a great purchase. I don't want to plug this too hard, like not an advertisement or anything, but the new Kindle Paperwhites, pretty good. I got one. It boosted the amount I read a ton because I stopped also carrying a smartphone anymore. So got rid of my smartphone actually about a year ago now, back in college. It's just like, hey, I need to focus. I need to stop being a zombie on YouTube or whatnot. So got rid of that. And now I pretty much am getting closer to having one device for every task. So instead of having like a do-it-all smartphone distraction machine, I have a little bad flip phone here. If I really need to make a phone call, I got a flip phone. I have an iPod. When I listen to music, I have the iPod. What else? I need emails. And I guess the do-it-all device is kind of a laptop. I try to keep it, not on all the time because that could easily just be distracting. And now want to read a book or something, now I have a Kindle, and it's like it's just making better habits, I guess. I'm a bit of a health nut overall. So just trying to find ways to be more healthy, including like with like mental habits and like habits around tech, instead of like, oh, I'm bored for 10 seconds and I'm like a dopamine addicted Zoomer. Instead of grabbing for like a cell phone and scrolling through something, it's like, oh, I'll pick up Kindle, read through a book. And I think it's done me a lot of good. So yeah, definitely I'd recommend it. And it's don't want to advocate piracy too hard on your podcast, but Z Library recently got taken down. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
It's this big. It was like the biggest ebook piracy site.
Really? Okay.
And it actually, and I mean, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. As a broke college kid, they had almost every book. Like I have rarely failed to find a book on this website. Basically, they failed to find. Like I looked up a book, it was there pretty much 99% of the time. It blew up on TikTok recently, actually. Like hashtag Z Library got really, really popular. It got popular enough that it actually just got like the domain just got seized by like the US government like a week ago, and it got taken down. And it's still up on Tor if you want to use the Onion browser, go pirate some books and stuff. It's still there, but yeah, that's crazy. It feels a little, I don't know, gross. That I don't know. I'll keep my opinions close to my chest here a little bit, but it's like, man, are you really gonna put that much effort into taking down like a free book website? That feels a little bit like burning a library, but I get it. Piracy is piracy, but like,
well, it'll just respawn under.
It'll respawn, yeah, and like, I don't know, and things like torrenting too. I think that's becoming a little bit more mainstream, and that's, I mean, it's peer to peer, so it's absurdly hard to stop. Like, basically, like the Pirate Bay, it used to get taken down and then it would pop up and get taken down.
Right.
It's so easy to spin it back up because it's just a tracker. It's like a list of who has what files. No one bothers knocking the Pirate Bay down anymore because I think I read up on it. It's like a 2 gigabyte file. a list of like who has what files. So probably there's like 1,000 people in the world, 1,000,000 people in the world that just has that ready to boot it back up as soon as it's taken down. So
yeah,
I think that's probably good as far as like internet freedom goes, but I think piracy is inevitable. But
yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, that I got really sidetracked there talking about books and piracy. But yeah, I guess.
No, man, I give you credit for living that that minimalist technology lifestyle, man, and the screen time that you do get. You know, you're doing great things, man, and you're killing it with what you're building there. So keep at that. And what's the URL for your website? So anyone listening can check it out.
IsaacHathaway.com if you want. And cool. If you're hiring tech positions in Central Oregon, you know, hey, I'm looking for a job.
Or remote, right?
Or remote, yeah. Okay,
you're up for that.
I'll totally take anything remote. I've almost given up on competing for a remote job. Straight out the gate, but you know, hey, I'll take one if you want to give me one.
Yeah. What's your preference?
I would love a remote job. It's just, hey, am I gonna really outcompete everyone in the whole world for X position? So I'm like, hey, I can do a lot better applying for jobs like local. Like, hey, there's only X people within like a commuting distance of any job I look for, and I'm not super excited about moving anywhere too far. Like I'd move around inside this little Central Oregon area, but I like it here and all my friends are here. So, and there's enough jobs here, you know, I'll find one here and I'll stay around here. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, man. Cool, man. Well, all right. Thanks, dude. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
You got it, man.